what happened after that.
Were you able to take your masters with you?
Not at the time. No, not at the time, bro. It was like, it was all, nah, it was like, it was crazy. And then the crazy thing was, is I felt so betrayed by everybody. I was just bugging. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to be with none of these people anymore. Like, I went to A.D.O.R, and now once the album is not released from Atlantic, I was released and I was back to Untouchables Productions. You know what I'm saying? I went back under Eddie's wing and Untouchables. And I had come so far and I tasted so much of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was in it, you know. I had done it Live in Color. I was like, you know what I'm saying? I was touring. I toured Europe. Like, I was like, I can't stop. I can't just stop this now and wait for another record deal to come. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to keep moving. You know, that's just how I felt at the time. Plus, I was just bugging. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I didn't know what to do, bro. I was just, it was crazy.
Right.
So I asked Untouchables, Eddie, for a release. I said, release me. Like, I didn't want to be, because I seen some of the artists that would be just be, you know, with them and just be not really doing nothing, and, you know, months and months. And I didn't want to fall into that. I would rather take my chances on my own, because that's me always going back to me knowing the music industry from my father and just being in it, and, you know, being, you know, on point with myself.
Right.
I just said, I'll just go on my own and take it from there, bro.
Right.
Now, I don't know if that was the right decision or not. Maybe I would have got signed to LaFace real fast. You know, Eddie F had a couple of Donnell Jones. Like, Donnell used to come to my crib and sleep in my crib and all that stuff. And, you know, he wasn't really doing that for a long time, but he stuck it out with Eddie F, and he ended up getting signed to LaFace. And maybe that would have happened to me. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I just asked them for a release.
Right.
They released me, and that's when I went independent. That's like right away, bro. I went independent.
Right. Before we talk about life after the concrete, what were your best memories during those sessions making the concrete?
That's a good question, bro. I think one of the top things that was real cool is when I was in Chungking, and Pun was in there. Big Pun was in the studio, and I was about to do a session with Diamond, and Pun was in the studio, and he was with Cuban Link, and I was in there, and I was just sitting there, you know, but I didn't really know Pun. You know, I didn't know Pun, like, he wasn't even out yet. You know what I'm saying? He was just starting to make records. And he seen me and he was like, yo, A.D.O.R. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, I like your joint, man. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you crazy. And then I don't know how it happened, but we all just ended up freestyling. They had dropped the beat, right? And we would just all just kill. It was me, Pun, and Cuban Link. And we were just all, you know, just riding it. It was real cool. That was a cool time with him. And, man, when we made the concrete, I got crazy things, bro. When we made the concrete, Jay was in the studio with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ski and Jay we were in Power Play Studios in Queens. And I made that, and that song, that's like one of my favorite records I ever made from the concrete. You know what I'm saying? Ski produced that joint, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Ski, that's Jay-Z. That's Jay-Z's original, you know, that's the man who made Jay-Z, really. You know what I'm saying? And Jay was in the studio with me. I was, you know, he was eating. We was eating off my per diem, chilling for like a day. Jay was in there, and I always used to see Jay at the offices and my accountant's office and Dame. I was close with Dame. I was close with Dame Dash too. I love Dame, and I still got a lot of love for Dame and Dash. He was funny as hell, man. We had a lot of funny times together because he was the original Flavor. That's the one I forgot even on Atlantic that got dropped too. Original Flavor with Ski and them. You know what I'm saying? That was Dame Dash. Dame was their manager. And Dame used to always be, and then Dame was always on me because he felt like Atlantic was paying all the attention to me. You know what I'm saying? And Dame was an aggressive cat, you know what I'm saying, for his group. And he's like, yo, man, what's up with Original Flavor? All this stuff for A.D.O.R. We need some stuff for Original Flavor. Dame was like that. But we used to laugh about it. We just had a real cool relationship, you know what I'm saying? And being with Jay, and then being with RZA, being with Wu-Tang and them, like in the studio, like I was when I was making my album, all these cats were starting to make their albums too. You know what I'm saying? Like the first albums, and I was there with them, and we would do studio sessions. And I remember I think it was, I forgot the name of the studio it was, but it was when they were doing Protect Your Neck, bro. Protect Your Neck had just come out, and they were starting to work on their project, and we were all of us, ODB, me, Meth, RZA, Raekwon. We were just they were waiting for me to finish my session, but they were all everybody at that time, all these cats were looking at me with all this love, like, oh, that's A.D.O.R, yo. I like Ghostface. They loved the record. You know what I'm saying? They loved me. They liked me. You know what I'm saying? They liked my vibe. They liked my energy. You know what I'm saying? I'm a straight, real New York, East Coast beast. You know what I'm saying? That's real. And it was just great times, yo. It really was. It was magical. Like that stuff. Like, and the funny thing about me is I don't even like. I never took pictures or you know what I'm saying, like video, none of that stuff. Bro. I just lived it. I was doing it. I was with Mike Tyson, and when I didn't live in color, you know what I'm saying. Jennifer Lopez was like really liking my music. You know what I'm saying, like she was liking, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, and all that, I really don't have much like pictures, and I have some like if you get the Shock Frequency album, there's some cool like clips and pictures. If you can still find like the cassette of it or the CD, if you could get my first album that I put out on my label, True Rain Records, there's some cool like shots, studio shots, me, Diamond, and Pete Rock and stuff like that. But those were some of the illest moments. And then even with Lil Wayne, I was with Lil Wayne up in Pro Jam Studios up in Harlem when he was first starting to come out. You know what I'm saying? We were just chilling. I just had all these real moments with all these cats that, you know, they know me. They know A.D.O.R, yo. They still know me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I definitely impacted enough where cats recognize.
Right. So the album's supposed to drop. At what point does A.D.O.R go independent?
I went straight off the bat. I met with my man. My man was in Manhattan. My man Mark Smilo, and he was working with Danny Sims. Danny Sims was Bob Marley's manager, like his original manager. Bob Marley's OG manager back in the day was a man by the name of Danny Sims, and he had just gotten a distribution deal with a company out of Minnesota called A.D.O.R Corporation. It was he was starting his he had all these old Bob Marley masters that he owned that were like demos of Bob Marley that he struck like a big deal with this independent distribution company, music distribution company. And his label was called Anansi. It was called Anansi Records. And I was chopping it up with him, and he gave me a distribution deal through him. Because he's seen what it was. But really, what happened, to be honest with you, let me go back a little bit, because what happened first is after I was released from Atlantic and I was released from Untouchables, my man like came and got me. He wanted to sign me to New Tribe Virgin. And Mel Ice, his name was Mel Ice. And Mel Ice was King Son's DJ at the time. And he became an A&R at New Tribe Virgin, which was like the West Coast. Remember when New Tribe Virgin was dropping cats? They were dropping some good music, right? Mm-hmm. They hired Mel Ice to be the A&R for an East Coast office of New Tribe. And Mel wanted me. He loved me. He wanted to sign me. So I was like, okay, I'm down, bro. Let's do it. So I'm about to think I'm signing with Mel Ice and New Tribe, and God rest his soul, and sincerely, he ended up passing away. Like he got sick out of nowhere. I don't know exactly what happened, but my condolences still to his family and everything. All respect to him. But yeah, he was about to sign me. A.D.O.R was about to come back out. Within 6 months of being released from Atlantic, I was going to come out on New Tribe Virgin through Mel Ice, and then he passed away. And then when that happened, that's when I was like, I said I did the deal for True Rain Records, which is my label, through Danny Sims with A.D.O.R. And then that's when I went back to Pete, and I said, yo, Pete, man, can we do a record together? People want to hear another record from you and me together. And
Right.
Pete agreed. Pete did it with me, bro. We went down to Green Street and we made Enter the Center, which is my second record with Pete Rock. And let's just go back real fast because a lot of people think that Let It All Hang Out is a Pete Rock remix. Just so you cats know, that's not a remix. That's an original A.D.O.R. Pete Rock record. You know, Atlantic just wanted to throw a Pete Rock remix on there because that was the big thing back then. You know, a Pete Rock remix. Bro, I'm the one who influenced the Jump Around, him doing the remix for Jump Around, House of Pain, seen him working with me and all that. Like, yo, I want to get in there with Pete for real. Like, that's real. Like, a lot of that was, you know, that was all when he started popping off crazy. I remember being in the Untouchables office when they came back from the studio and they had just done Down with the Kings. I was like, whoa! I was like one of the first cats to hear that joint. It was wow, you know. And PE Shut 'Em Down remix. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was all after Let It All Hang Out, and then but the Pete Rock remix is just a 45 extended version for like a 45-second more extended version of Let It All Hang Out. So just for the knowledge, fun fact for A.D.O.R. and for Pete Rock, Let It All Hang Out is an original A.D.O.R. Pete Rock record, not a remix.
Oh.
So we made Enter the Center as a single, and it was banging. It's a fat record. I love it still, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's a good joint. And we made a fat video for it, and I put that out independently on True Rain Records, and I was getting mad love for it. I was got MTV. The video got MTV love, and I was selling units, and I was doing good, bro. I was doing good, man. And then I made the album Shock Frequency, which is like my debut album on True Rain. That wasn't the Concrete. You know what I'm saying? The Concrete was my first real debut album, but since it wasn't released commercially, I had said Shock Frequency is my first real debut. Was my first debut album, you know. But that's when the things started getting cloudy. With my lawyer was telling me, yeah, you know, since Atlantic didn't release the Concrete album, they kind of reneged on the contract. Those masters revert back to, you know, you and Untouchables and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I got a lot of rights back. And that's when I started. I put a couple records from the Concrete, didn't do the whole thing, but a couple of them are on the Shock Frequency, you know, and like Let It All Hang Out and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, man. But so, you know, so I made the album Shock Frequency. I put that album out. I put that album out independently through True Rain Records and Anansi. And I started selling crazy, bro. Like I was starting to sell my vinyl. My vinyl was selling crazy. The vinyl Shock Frequency album was selling thousands of units. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, it's just the music business, bro. You know, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, cool. So now I need money to keep promoting the album and run my label. Look at all this money we're making from Shock Frequency. We're doing good with it. I was selling, but little did I know, Danny Sims, he had all this money into the Bob Marley project, right? And the distribution company and all the music cats out there, they'll know about this. They were cross collateralizing my money with Danny's money because I was a sub label under his label. You know what I'm saying? So the money I was making was recouping the money, all the crazy big money they gave for the Bob Marley project that wasn't coming to fruition. Mm. They gave him a lot of money for the Bob Marley album and it wasn't selling like that. And they put a lot of money into it, like a couple $100,000 or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it wasn't recouping. So all the other labels that were under him that were recouping and making money, they were taking that money to fix his Bob Marley account.
Mm. Wow.
So I wasn't getting that. I wasn't getting that cheese, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yo, what is going on here, bro? I'm selling. I got $40,000 in vinyl LP sales, bro. That's my money.
Right.
You get your 20%, and then it was like, you know, then it became like the dark side of the music business, bro.
So what eventually happened to that deal and the conversations behind that?
That was just another situation where I was like, I'm out, bro. So you know what I'm saying? You can't hold me to this like this. And he obliged, and I appreciate Danny for what he was. And he was a great man. I had great times with him. He taught me a lot. And I guess but actually, what really happened first is that he before the album was going to come out, like he had asked me if he was talking to Koch at the time too, and he had asked me if I wanted to move the album to Koch. And I actually met with Koch, like the head of Koch Records myself. And this is before the diplomats went there and people started messing with Koch. Like I was in there with him before that. But then me again, like I'm like loyal, right? And I'm like, yo, man, I'm already in this Navarre deal, right? You know, I'm not gonna pull it to go to Koch now and then start all over. You know what I'm saying? Like it was too close to do it. And that was a decision I made to stay with Navarre. And I guess behind the scenes, that's why maybe he wanted me to move the label, the release, because he knew what was going to happen, but he didn't want to tell me.
Right.
So I stayed with Navarre, and it is what it is. But like I said, as we go through this, bro, it all comes to where I am right now, sitting here with you right now, and I'm happy with where I am. So